Voter turnout and make Pinellas County blue. As you may know, I'm the Pinellas County Field Organizer with Next Gen America. I do this line of work because I envision living in a country where equality is the standard. Where tolerance isn't just about being politically correct, but just about following the golden rule. I also envision living in a country where all of us have our voices heard. And the only way to see that to fruition is through reliable and unwavering use of our vote at the polls. The town hall will begin in 10 to 15 minutes, but I have a favor to ask of you before we begin. You should have been handed a letter like this one when you walked through the door tonight. Did you? Yes. Everyone have a letter? Good. Those letters are addressed to voters who support our efforts to impeach Donald Trump. These voters who we are writing tonight are voters who believe and are willing and ready to show the Trump administration that we are sick and tired of the ruthless and lawless actions that have taken place. More than that, all of these voters live in essential congressional districts just like the one that we are in tonight. My envelope is addressed to Jean, and I wrote her a few moments ago. I simply stated that voting is a cornerstone of a democratic union and a facilitator of liberty. Voting allows for your voice to be heard. Voting also allowed us to deliver Barack Obama to the presidency twice. We stood up and we voted against the status quo, and we came together for change. We did it then, and we can do it again. Hope is not dead. We made ourselves heard, like I said, and we can do it again. Now, for a brief moment, I want to take you on a journey. I want you to remember the morning, the solemn, solemn morning of November 9th, 2016. How did it make you feel finding out the commander-in-chief-to-be was Donald Trump? Same here. Me too. Did it repulse you? Yes. Did it make you sick? Yes. Did it make you cringe all the way down to your utter core? Yes. Same here. Same here. So needless to ask, but did you feel helpless? Yes. Well, now it's our time. It is our time to show this administration that we have been patiently waiting for the reckoning day of the 2018 midterm election. Now I want you to harness the feelings invoked in this moment, and I want you to use it and put it to power. I want you to make your voice heard with that energy. I want you to take the letter that you've been given tonight, and I want you to write the person that it is addressed to. I want you to tell them how you feel. I want you to tell them why it's important for them to vote in the November election, and I want you to tell them why you're voting in the November election, what it means to you to flip Pinellas County blue, to flip Florida blue, and hopefully flip the country blue in 2020. Many of these races are going to be decided by thousands of votes, even 100s of votes. Can I count on you to write a letter tonight explaining why it is important, how close it is, and why their voice matters?
Yes.
If you would like, you can write more than one letter. You can see my friends Deidre and Ruby in the back. You can pick up a pack of 10 letters and write those tonight or throughout the week. While you're back there, you can also sign up for a volunteer shift with NextGen. We cannot do the work that we do without you. We cannot knock all of the doors without you. We cannot make all of the calls without you, and we cannot rally all the voters to the polls in November without your help. Do I have an amen? Yes, that's excellent. So with that, I want to wish you an amazing night, and I want to say thank you for being here, and thank you for caring, and I will see you in November at the polls.
Thank you all for coming here tonight. As we always love to say in St. Petersburg, even though we may be inside, the sun is certainly shining brightly on us here tonight and brightly on this community. We are all gathered here tonight to talk about your sacred right, your voice that you can use in helping us sustain our democracy, and that is your right to vote. Now, I know you all have probably heard this before about this being the most important election ever, and I must say a year ago I kind of would say last year was the most important election ever. But in all seriousness, this year truly is a really critical election for us, not just in the state of Florida, but nationally. But here in the state of Florida, we can change the future direction of this state if we get out to vote. And so it is truly incumbent on all of us to make sure that we do that and have a true voice in what this state's democracy and the way the state operates and the way we look. So, I want to take a moment here to thank our special guest for visiting us here in the Sunshine City. Tom Steyer joins us all the way from California. He has been a successful investor and businessman, and he believes in a moral responsibility to give back. He founded the advocacy group, NextGen, to fight for issues that so many of us in this room I know all believe in. Climate change, healthcare, immigration, inequality, and criminal justice. So if you would all please join me in showing Tom a really great Sunshine City welcome. Mr. Tom Steyer.
and just give you some sense about what we're going to do tonight. I mean, we want this to be a conversation between us and you. We will open it up in about 5 to 10 minutes. I want to give a little bit of a preamble, but literally that length, so we have some sense of framing about what's at stake this November in the United States and in Florida. Obviously, many people in the United States have been watching the hearings for Judge Kavanaugh in DC over the last couple of days. And it's been a riveting and powerful example to all of us at what's at stake. Because what we're seeing is a very angry and determined effort on the part of the... But my role in that is less important than that it happened. And so I'm gonna look at it and say, what can I do really to contribute? What are the things, you know, we wouldn't be doing youth voter mobilization if somebody else were doing youth voter mobilization. We're doing it because it wasn't being done. And so I'm gonna look on November 7th and say, really, what can I do? And I will do anything that I think will be the best.
I think you can describe that as being a public servant who just hasn't been elected, but is a true public servant. Right over here.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Steyer. Two of the most corrosive things I think we have to deal with in this country are the Citizens United decision, which has made money was a problem in politics long before that, but that really amped it up on steroids. And the other thing I think about is we used to have the fairness doctrine in this country, where the media had to cover both sides and be objective, and we didn't have so many different sources. How can we counteract these two problems and make it so hard to get the truth out and allow ordinary Americans to influence politics, not just the wealthy?
Yeah. Well, the Citizens United ruling, which basically enabled corporate money to come into politics and to really swamp everybody else, is something, there was a Supreme Court decision, I think it was in 2010, and in order to get it undone, I honestly think we're going to have to win a bunch of elections over time. And I think that, you know, the money in politics is so corrupting. And you know, I don't see it. You guys know Florida so much better than I do, and Rick must know it 1,000 times better than I do. But I know a little bit about how it works in California, and there is just a very deliberate attempt by corporations to give money and to get value for that money in terms of how elected officials behave. And it's hard to believe until you see it real time, and then you see it, and you see people who absolutely think it's normal, and you think that just can't be normal, but you realize it's accepted practice in many places. So I think we've really got to change the laws on that, because it is so corrosive in terms of getting good policy made if people won't vote for it because their donors won't let them. The second thing is, the fairness doctrine was originally to say that everybody who runs a media company has to cover every issue fairly. But because we have so many cable channels now, the idea was you don't have to be fair on Fox News because you'll also watch CNN. Well, of course, that isn't how people watch TV. In fact, I was coming out of church at the beginning of this year, and a woman, I go at 6 p.m. on Sunday, and a woman who's a friend of mine, who's an 85-year-old widow, was coming out, and she said, "Hey, Tom, can I talk to you?" And I said, "Sure." And she said, she's a widow, a rancher, and she has 4 kids in their 50s. She said, "My daughter won't talk to me. Do you think I should stop watching Fox News?" And I said, "Georgia, do you watch anything but Fox News?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Well, you don't have to stop watching Fox News, but you better start watching the other channels, because otherwise you have no vocabulary for a conversation with your daughter, and when you say stuff, she's going to be like, "Are you high?" But in reality, that's where we are as a country. It is really hard to have a conversation when you have different facts, different vocabulary, and there's no meeting of the minds about what's going on. And so getting how to reach those people who live in a hermetically sealed Fox News, Wall Street Journal, Breitbart, Facebook world is going to be really important for us as a country to come together, which is critical for us, regardless of who's in control. Americans across the country are very good people. We need to have the same information so that we can talk about it and be sure that, we can share a way of thinking and they can understand where we're coming from.
It's apparent the United States left the Paris Climate Accords behind a long time ago, and it seems to be that we need in the United States, after the election, a student group that gets in touch with the rest of the world, and gets us back in step with what's going on in climate change and what's happening all through the rest of the intelligent world, instead of trying to see if perhaps we can be the last one to die.
So let me jump on what you were saying and take it a step further if I can. St. Petersburg is a peninsula on a peninsula. And so we are kind of ground zero when it comes to sea level rise and climate change. And so for us, it's a pretty big deal. And we've already seen the effects here of climate change. I think all of us we probably agree this has got to be the hottest September that we can ever. We have our infrastructure that gets overwhelmed by rains. We have sunny day flooding from high tides. And so I know you have been significantly focused on things like energy and clean energy. You spend a lot of your energy
for coming out. I appreciate it.
about clean energy.
It looks like we made up Vice Cedric, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So, how do you feel after that?
I feel pretty great. I'm a little nervous, but overall pretty good. I feel like I got my message across, and I feel like it went well.
That's amazing. We're so happy to see you here. Thanks for popping by.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hi everybody, my name is Anna Breedlove. I'm Jennifer Webb's field director. We are working hard to flip HD, House District 69, blue. But it's gonna take all of us. So anytime that you can give us, we've got lots of really amazing opportunities for you to knock on doors, call voters, talk to them a little bit about why you care who represents you up in Tallahassee.
I know if our next gen votes, then we win. And that all Americans win and we will have a more compassionate country.